Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Kingdoms. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a fantastic day. We are, unfortunately, back in 1.13.2. I did have to roll back out of the snapshots after last episode. I don't think they're ready yet. We will jump into the snapshots as soon as I'm comfortable with their stability. I'm very much looking forward to playing in them. But I don't think they're there yet. Not quite yet. I think it's a little too risky right now. What I want to do in today's episode is I want to do some world shaping, although it looks like it's about to be bedtime. So let's go sleep real quick, and then we'll jump into what we're going to be doing today. Also, I keep coming into this house to do stuff. I should at least do an interior on this house, at least, just because we're sleeping in here every single time, and then anyway. So here's the plan. Here in Nembonia, I want to have on top of this hill a fortification. Not like a full-blown castle, but a fortification, a fortified defensive building. However, I want it to sit on top of a hill right here. And at the moment, this isn't really a proper hill. This is kind of a collection of little pointy bits, I guess you would say. So the plan for today is to turn this whole thing into a hill. And I don't know exactly how big I want to make it. I know that this bit's gonna kind of come around. What's our main elevation level? I'd say right about here. So that would be right here. Okay. So if we start kind of bringing this out, let's just grab some stone, and I'm just going to kind of mark this a little bit right here, so I know kind of what elevation I'm working with, because I want to connect this whole thing up. And we'll go maybe here, and then there, and then maybe like this, right? And this will be kind of our plateau. We can kind of get rid of some of these little bits, and ultimately when this is done, we'll probably cover the top with grass, but I want this to be sort of like a almost like a mesa, not like a mesa made out of clay, but like a plateau or a mesa where this is all stone, fairly steep walls, and kind of a flat top. That's sort of what I'm kind of going for here. Also, before I forget, thank you all so much for the comments on the last episode. I appreciate it immensely. Thanks for everyone welcoming me back. Also, judging from the reactions in the comments, people are pretty overwhelmingly in favor of the idea of kind of going all in, air quotes, on the texture pack. And I think that's awesome. I feel like my volume is really low right now. No, it's not. Maybe I just need to turn my headphones up a little bit. There we go. People are kind of very much in favor of this idea of kind of going all in on the texture pack, and I think that's fantastic. People are a lot more divided on the idea of creative mode. And I am also kind of divided on the idea of creative mode as well. I'm not, I don't want this to be like a perfect circle, by the way. I want this to be fairly, different. Maybe we go like here, and then kind of bring it over like so. So I was thinking, when it comes to creative mode, I want to kind of talk about how I would use it, because I don't want to just use it to like create massive things all the time and cheat in diamonds and basically there's a couple of things that are just really annoying to do in vanilla, and that would be much easier and much more convenient to do with creative mode. And they're things that honestly don't make very good content anyway. For example, anything that involves flight. Like the biggest thing for me would just be the ability to fly. As terrible as that sounds, like, it can be extremely frustrating to make some things in this game without flight capabilities. So we're gonna kind of, we definitely want this to be like varied. We don't want all of our stuff at the same height, but at the same time, we want it to be, I'm just trying to like do this a little bit in my head. Can we reach that one? Yeah, there we go. No, not here. I want this to be, well, yeah, that one's probably fine. I want this to kind of carry underneath, because this is going to be sort of this very sort of rocky top. And this is a perfect example of one of those things that is just really annoying to do in survival. Anything that's up in the air. This is why I've never built like a sky kingdom, and why I probably never will build a sky kingdom, if I'm being honest. It's just very, very grindy to do, and you spend a lot of time over the course of a video basically just trying to get blocks placed down. You're not detailing things, you're not, you know what I mean? There's just a lot of like, a lot of really kind of annoying stuff to deal with. How much stone do I have? I've got a fair amount. We should be okay. Let's kind of get rid of this. Maybe we go like that. And that should be okay. We'll maybe put one here. Maybe one here and here. Just to kind of, we're trying to essentially make this a mountain where the base kind of comes out, I'd say about here-ish. So maybe what we should do actually is kind of mark out the base shape first, right? Sort of like that. And then maybe it'll kind of go here. Well, actually, then I think it needs to turn this way, like so. Just kind of looking shape-wise. Yeah, it seems about right. So maybe here and like that, right? And then this is kind of our base shape. So then somewhere in between, halfway is probably roughly here-ish. This needs to kind of come out as well. Let's just get rid of that one. And we're going to try and shape this. So if I was to be using creative mode right now, I could very easily just sort of fly and do what I want. And I mean, as far as the resources part of it, like, that doesn't really bother me. I don't really care all that much about the resources. It's just, the thing that would be easier would be just the amount of, like, block placement that I could do, very, very quickly that I can't right now. Let's maybe bring that over here and then maybe like so. How's that look? None of that crosses. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. And then let's maybe go, yeah, probably about here is where we want our next line to sort of come from. So I don't know, like, maybe what I'll do is I'll do like one episode of Kingdoms to kind of demonstrate how it would be used. There's basically what I'd want to use it for is stuff like this that would involve a lot of flying, and stuff that's basically just place a lot of this one singular block, right? Stuff like, I want to build a wall, and the background of the wall is going to be a flat wall of stone. Well, it could take me 2 hours to place down that entire wall, or I could do it with a command and just, you know, paste in one giant wall of, like, perfect example, right? Over here, these walls in creative, this could be done with basically like, well, this isn't really a good example because this one's very curved, but like a lot of this could just be done with one command, a flat wall, just paste in the blocks, call it good, and that's stuff that wouldn't even be shown in the videos anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's, I think it's not exceptionally entertaining to watch those types of videos. If the, you know, where it's just like, let me place this block 1,000 times. And there's ways to make it interesting. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, that's something that would be like a talkie episode, for example. But at the same time, like, I am conscious of the type of content and what makes good content at this point. And personally, I'm not generally happy with an episode where I'm just placing down blocks and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something that I'm like, that was a great episode. I'm really proud of that one. It still happens from time to time, just kind of out of necessity. But at the same time, like, I think it could be better, if that makes any sense. Probably bring that one down and over. That one can go up here. We'll see how natural this looks. And when I say natural, I mean like when compared to regular Minecraft terrain generation. We'll see how this looks. I gotta go sleep again. And then we'll be able to take kind of a preliminary look at it and sort of get a feel for it. And ultimately, as I said, the plan is we need to build this plateau. And then once we build the plateau, we'll be able to build an actual like structure on top of it, which will kind of move this whole thing forward. I really need to get the walls for this place done. The other thing that I would probably use creative for would be like custom trees, although that would technically be more like structure blocks than custom trees, kind of like we saw on some of those world tours where they build something that is meant to be reused, custom trees, for example, and then they reuse that tree several times throughout the world. You know, rather than they're like, okay, well, I've got this thing that I've already built, and I'm just going to build it again using structure blocks. I'm just going to paste it in and call it good. And I don't really have an issue with that. I think we're kind of past the point in Minecraft, like as a community, where it matters that much at this point. That like it used to be back in the day. If something wasn't done in survival on YouTube, then that was like the end of the world, right? Like it was like, you're cheating. But I think we've kind of like moved past that as a Minecraft community. I think for the most part now it's like, I just want to see cool. I just want to see cool builds. And there's still a segment of the population that's like, yeah, it needs to be done in survival or it's not, you know, it doesn't count. But I think for the most part, that's kind of gone away. Let's kind of build up to here-ish, I'd say. Nah, now I'm already underneath. Yeah. So we got to do it right here. Man, that's going to be a steep wall, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's fine. Let's maybe go here. And then we're starting to kind of turn the corner a little bit, so maybe go here. I'm just sort of trying to kind of semi-randomize it a little bit, so it looks a little bit natural, right? Like we don't want it to be... Yeah, something like that I think could work. That should be fine. Anyway, as I was saying, I think we're kind of past a point, like past the point at this, like now, as the Minecraft community goes on YouTube. I think we're kind of past the point where people really care that much if it's survival or creative. Now we've got channels like Grian who, you know, prior to Hermitcraft and Evo did everything pretty much in creative mode, you know, showcasing builds and stuff. And like you had your guys like Corrales and stuff that were around beforehand, who did you know, a lot of creative mode stuff. But I think now at this point, people are, for the most part, more concerned with whether or not the video is interesting to watch and the build is cool than they are with whether or not, you know, it was done in survival or in creative. So I don't know. As I said, I'm thinking maybe what I'll do is I'll do like a test. I'll do like one test episode to kind of see, you know, the reaction of people, and then I'll put a poll on that one being like, if I do this again in the future, are you guys okay with it or whatever? You know, we'll maybe try it out and experiment, because I think that's also kind of an important part as well, is sort of experimenting and seeing how things work out. What is... Oh, there's one solitary grass block up there. I'm like, what is that thing? This is looking pretty good, though, I gotta say. This is coming together, like, pretty well. I'm fairly happy with this. I think we need to kind of build this bit out a little bit, because it's going to be kind of coming down like so. But I think, yeah, this is actually coming together better than I anticipated. I'm liking this so far. I'm thinking this is going okay. It's getting there. Okay, so let's maybe go here. This one I think we'll kind of bring over. We'll maybe go something like that. It's all about trying to get that like natural Minecraft terrain generation feel, which is sometimes much easier said than done. But I think we can pull it off. I think we are pulling it off, honestly. Like, I'm pretty happy with this so far. Let's maybe go there. Maybe that one will kind of come down. Maybe we do something along those lines. And then this one will kind of come up. We'll go like here. There. That one we can kind of bring over. And like so. And then this is going to have to come out a bit more to kind of balance it out and make it not look super ridiculous. I think that also needs to kind of come... Nope. I wanted to get rid of that one. You go here. You go there. All right, let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's looking good. That looks like fairly natural. We're gonna have to kind of peel a tiny bit off of this edge, I think. Mostly just like right here. Swap you out for a stone. Maybe go there. And maybe kind of bring that over and like so, but honestly, I think that's pretty solid. And then that gives us a fairly large base on top of which to build our castle, town thing, fortification, whatever you want to call it thing. That's the technical term for it, by the way. So tell you what, let me get this all torched up, because we're also going to want to prevent mobs from spawning underneath here. And since this is ultimately going to be all covered up, if I don't do this, it will be Mob City down here, and that's not what we want. So let me get this all torched up, and then I shall return. All right, so that is done. Everything's all torched up underneath there, which is great. So next step, I think, is I want to basically cover up sort of the top layers of this with grass. So I'm going to make this completely flat at the top for now. When we actually build, we'll put some more grass on top of this. And I think I want to cover up probably like the top 3 layers or so with grass too, to kind of give it that very sort of grassy look, if that makes any sense. It might not. So let me get that done. That'll probably take me a little bit. Let me get that all finished and I shall return. All right, guys, I am back. It's actually a couple of days, like 2 or 3 days after that last clip was recorded. I've had a pounding headache that just will not go away. And like even now, like it's a little, like my vision is actually a little blurry, but I need to get this video out. So sorry about the delay, but here we are. And I did finish this thing. At least for the most part. Shape-wise, it's all done. The top is completely flat right now, but we'll modify this a bit once we actually build the thing on top of it, and that way we can kind of sculpt the terrain along with the building and make them kind of integrate better. So this is looking pretty good, I think. Yeah, like honestly, this turned out pretty well, considering this was not here before, and it looks, for the most part, like it belongs as part of the natural Minecraft generation, so I'm happy with it. I do have a comment of the day, so let's read that real quick. And this is from, I'm going to butcher this name, Bjarn Kone? Maybe? Sorry if I butchered your name. I think you should start a new single-player series. This series is developed with this texture pack. A new beginning with a new texture pack would be the best, I think. Just my opinion. So I don't think I want to do that. Honestly, like, it's not a bad idea to completely revamp and overhaul the texture pack and then start completely from scratch. But this world is kind of my baby, and I would hate to lose all of this. Like, I think if I was going to be completely starting over, I would probably just scrap Kingdoms altogether. Maybe? I don't know. Like, it's hard to say because there's always been the possibility that for some reason or another, I might have to scrap Kingdoms altogether. You know, the world gets corrupted, or Mojang releases a new version that says, hate to say it, but because of the changes we've made to the game, old worlds will not be compatible. Like, that possibility has always been there, albeit very unlikely, but I suppose it's possible. So I don't know if I would necessarily scrap Kingdoms altogether if for some reason I did have to start completely over. But at the same time, like, this world is my baby. I've put so many hours and so much time and stuff into this world that I'm not open to the idea of completely starting from scratch. Even if we were to completely revamp the texture pack and start over. This world was developed with the texture pack, but going all in on the texture pack, like I've talked about, isn't going to be completely changing what I've already done with the texture pack. Like, my diorite is still going to look like a lighter stone brick. A lot of the changes that I have already made are going to stay the way that they are right now. What will change will be things that I've not done yet, because I've decided it's too, because I thought, it's too far from vanilla. Changing various colors of concrete to a texture that looks like roof shingles, for example. That's something that I've thought about in the past, but I just haven't done it because I'm like, nah, that feels too far from vanilla for me. But with me going all in on this texture pack, I think those are things that I'll be doing. And it's just, the big thing is that that was unintentional. As I make these texture pack changes, I'm not going to be doing anything that's going to ruin what I've already done here. Like, Regnum is going to still look essentially the same as it does now. Solus will still look essentially the same as it does now. Nimbonia will still look essentially the same as it does now. Everything that's a key texture that I've already changed might get tweaked a little bit, but it's not going to be like outright changed dramatically for the most part. I can think of a couple textures that I will probably change dramatically, like Purpur, for example, which is just really a useless texture right now for the most part. Even with me having sucked a lot of the color saturation out of it, it's still a pretty useless texture. But yeah, I'm not open to the idea of completely scrapping this world and starting a brand new series now or when all the texture pack changes are done. I just don't think it's the way to go. But I am very much out of time for this episode. My head is still pounding, as I said, so I'm going to probably lay down and try and sleep it off a little bit. But my friends, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.